Guys, welcome to the vlog. My name is Kristen. I'm 26 years old and I'm the general manager of a mom and pop bakery on the coast of Mississippi, and I wanted to take you guys through a few days of work in my life. I'm starting this vlog on a Friday because to me it's one of the most interesting days throughout the week that I do work. We do a lot of cake decorating on Fridays. We do anything ranging from birthday cakes all the way to wedding cakes, and you'll see a little bit of both of those in today's vlog. This cake here that I'm starting was probably the one that I was most pumped for this weekend. It was a 4-tier hexagon-shaped wedding cake. This is the bottom tier. It was a 12-inch, and each tier was filled with our delicious chantilly icing. I love it so much. It's basically just a mixture of cream cheese and whipped cream. It's so light and sweet, but not too sweet, so I just love it. The owner of the bakery has done hexagon-shaped cakes before, but this was the first one that I personally did, and it definitely was a joint effort. She did ice a couple of the tiers, and we kind of joined forces and put the whole thing together. We also delivered it together, which I will be showing you towards the end of the video. So what I'm doing here is putting sort of a dam of buttercream, and it's just going to help hold in the chantilly icing because the chantilly is too soft to support in between the tiers. So we put this in between the layers and then we chill it in the freezer so that it gets solid and can really hold in the filling. To tell you guys a little bit about myself, I did go to pastry school back in 2018. I did not always know that that's what I wanted to do. I graduated high school in 2014 and went to college for something totally different. And 4 years later, I decided to go for what I actually wanted to. And so I joined the baking and pastry program at a college near my hometown. And this job was actually my internship for my last semester in pastry school. I did learn the basics in pastry school, kind of the foundation to everything, but I got my in-depth experience here at the bakery working under my boss's wing. While I was going through pastry school, I was actually employed at Starbucks, which I loved that job. It was a lot of fun. And then whenever I graduated, the owner of this bakery actually offered me a full-time salary position as a manager, and I really just couldn't turn it down. I didn't know going into my internship that I would love cake decorating so much, but it's just kind of something that I caught on to. I was fascinated watching her decorate cakes, and she was really open-minded and kind of let me help wherever I could, and she pretty much taught me everything I know. We do ice our cakes completely in buttercream and then just add fondant details. It's super rare that we cover a cake in fondant, and we're actually much better at smoothing buttercream than trying to put fondant all over a cake. So, going into icing the hexagon shaped wedding cake, since I had never iced a hexagon cake, I decided to treat it like icing a square cake. And honestly, it was probably a little bit easier to ice the hexagon cake just because the sides are smaller, they're easier to smooth out. But I went into it like I would a square cake by piping on the sides. And the reason I do this instead of using a spatula like I would on a round cake is because I feel like I have more control over how much is going on it. It's even from top to bottom, and that just makes my life easier in the long run. This cake was another one that I was super excited to do. It was sort of like a number cake, but shaped like a bunny. And we didn't have a cutter for something like that, so I just kind of made one up with a cake circle and a piece of parchment that I cut out to look like a bunny ear. So this cake actually had a cookie butter filling. It's a filling that we're really known for at our bakery. It was honestly something that I had never heard of until I started working there, and it's so delicious. after I got the cake about as smooth as I was going to be able to get it, I started cutting out smoothie straws to act as supports on the tiers. And we do this between any stacked cake. To finish out my Friday at work, I just put the icing on top of this bunny cake, and I'll be decorating it on Saturday morning. And also, I realized when taking a second look at the photo that there is a hole in the middle of the cake, which makes a lot of sense, so you'll see that tomorrow if you're wondering why there's all of a sudden a hole in it. One of the first things I worked on when I got in on Saturday morning was the toppings for this bunny cake. It was due at 10, I go in at 9, so I wanted to make sure that I got everything put together and done. So right here I'm just making little chocolate candy bars basically with this mold that we have. And then it was basically just a matter of putting everything together. This cake had macarons on it. Oh, you can see the hole that I cut out in the middle. But it had macarons on it. The customer also brought in fresh flowers the day before. So they were, I believe, white roses. So I just put those on there, among other things like icing, sprinkles, and whatnot. You'll see it just kind of come together, and it was so cute. Such spring vibes. And here is the finished product. We were all obsessed with this one. It was so cute, and the customer had a really good reaction, so that's the best part. I also wanted to give you guys an overview of one of the cake fridges, just so you can see, because I only showed like 2 or 3 cakes in this video, but there are 2 other decorators, so we get a lot done. Now right here, I'm setting up a wedding consultation. We do wedding cakes, obviously, so we do wedding consultations and tastings. My boss actually does them. She's definitely a people person, more so than most of the rest of us, but I love setting up this kind of stuff. So I do a whole board with 4 different kinds of cakes, fillings, and then buttercream icings for them to try, and I do them in a line of what we think would go together, but we encourage them to kind of go all over the board to get different ideas for different flavors for their cakes. So this is the little setup, and it was ready for them to arrive. And here we are, much awaited. We're putting together the hexagon wedding cake. It was definitely a labor of love, but it came out so good. Of course, when we put it all together, we could just see all of the imperfections, but we got it as good as we could. Smoothed out all of the edges and filled in the cracks in between the tiers to make it borderless. And I wanted to show you guys the wedding venue that we delivered to. This is the Oak Crest Mansion Inn in Pass Christian. And it's definitely the wedding venue that we deliver the most to. We do deliver to multiple other wedding venues around us, but this is the one that we find ourselves at most of the time, and it's so beautiful. It's got a lot of charm. But look at that cake, guys. It came out so nice. We were obsessed. We stayed there for like 15 minutes just getting different shots. And here's a little overview of part of their ballroom. They have these beautiful chandeliers over the dance floor. I just love coming to this place, and everything turned out so nice. And that wrapped up my work week. Here I am starting off my weekend celebrating the matriarch of our family, my grandmother, turning 80. She is salt of the earth, and this woman deserves it all. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the vlog, and I'll see you next time.